The USS Autism is what the Atlanta would be if it survives Guadalcanal and receives heavy modernization in typical American fashion. Unlike that virgin Soviet battle canoe, you maintain the hull and compactness of the Atlanta, but now with more HP, additional plating, more AA, and even better torpedoes. It gets one of the best 127mm guns in the game, with fire chance rivaling bigger guns, higher shell velocity than American cruiser guns, plus SAP. It even looks adorable. But the main thing that sells the ship is the reload booster, with a ridiculous 75% buff that gives a whole new meaning on punishing broadsides.
Sunk.
If you don't cream over that, then you're probably impotent. This gun barrel abuse is just as controversial as Alec Baldwin in A Completely Normal Day, giving you 15 seconds of American problem solving as you dump 700,000 HEDPM, or over 1 million with SAP, into some really stupid people, and you can do it every 2 minutes, as frequent as dumping torpedoes. So, why is it not appearing in every game? The problem with the ship is giving up all the things that actually mattered in game for a set of gimmicks that only works on specific conditions. The reload booster is cool, but when it's not active, it gets the lowest DPM out of all same caliber cruiser, comparable to large cruiser, and those ships have higher penetration and armor. But the Autism isn't a large cruiser, it's a destroyer with a citadel, stuck on Atlanta hull, with only mild increase in overall armor, and cannot withstand supercruiser AP. Oh, you can angle against them, sure. Now go parry this 460mm shells, you filthy casual, because it ignores your citadel roof, meaning all battleship with the smallest junk in the game can slap you from range. Even Smolensk doesn't have this problem. And because it has SAP instead of AP, means 36mm is the cap on how much armor it can penetrate, so it also cannot kill certain ships. It would be like meeting Stalingrad and giving it a rude gesture. That's how handicapped it is considering how prevalent large cruisers are. It can't even kill a completely broadside Maytard even with reload booster because it doesn't have AP. Mind you that it is still a cruiser. This is a glass cannon at its purest, most honest form, where your performance are decided by how good you are at utilizing the reload booster and being lucky. So, why bother? Why not spend your steel on incomparable instead? For a ship you can only obtain using competitive currency, it is very much not competitive. But, perhaps you aren't those type of people who have a personality of a wet cardboard, plays the same ship over and over, busy jerking to purple statistics and plays Petro when tilted. From what we have seen, all of its quirks and features makes it much closer on being a destroyer instead of a cruiser. If you look at it that way, playing it like a destroyer would make a lot more sense. You must have patience, lots of patience, and refrain from actively shooting everything that moves like American cops. You wait until there is a clear sign that the enemy is committing on a push, common perpetrator being German battleships driven by donut simps. You launch torpedoes, then load AG, and set them on fire, but do not use the reload booster yet. Only after they have repaired, you use it to absolutely set them on fire again. You get double the fun. If you manage to land torpedoes you launch earlier, these torpedoes are your only tool against ships that can't be killed with your guns. In fact, I would value them higher than the guns, as it often able to turn engagements in your favor, giving additional damage with floodings, catching people off guard, and clutch your way out of sticky situations. Once you can reliably win the pissing contest without losing much hit points, you can start finding opportunities, no matter how small. You want quick and decisive action, not a prolonged engagement, just like how the Japanese fight in World War II, and subsequently lost. Because people who aren't limited to single brain cell will know what the Autism is capable of, and will attempt to keep you busy, or ambush you instead. The ship came from the stupid part of America, so naturally it has lots of haters, but that's just more power for you. You reposition often, more often than any other cruiser, while not shooting anything, and using islands as cover. Then suddenly appear, throwing taxpayers' money on some innocent ships that doesn't owe you anything, because that's what Americans do. Gets funnier if they give you compliments in return. What about ammo choice? Well, you must remember ships that would melt to SAP when showing broadside. If you get none of them, then you default to HE. Assume people know about SAP and why they should angle against them. But suicide hotline don't always work, and it won't be hard to notice.
Torpedoes to port. Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert. Enemy heavily damaged. Enemy submarine sunk.
Feeling like a hillbilly, then you can rush, while showing flat broadside, eating only over pens because you have such narrow hull. Assuming you have HP to spare, it would be a fun sight to behold regardless of winning or losing, as you shrug off shells that could otherwise cancel you, making it look stronger than it actually is, just like America. But don't forget to identify who's shooting you, because you are still vulnerable to pot shots from range, and not all shells are created equal.
Fast, Chucklenut!
As long as you're the one who starts the conflict and control the battle, you will have amazing games with the autism. Just make sure to always dodge sentient dildos. This is how you equip the resident cat girl. You take expert loader, demolition expert, superintendent, and concealment expert. Then take heavy HE and SAP shells because it is painfully obvious it was made for the ship. Then survivability expert, adrenaline rush, and your choice of fill the tubes or focus fire training. You can also take radio location instead to be extra certain when sneaking behind islands. For the upgrades you take main armament 1. Engine room protection, aiming system, propulsion, concealment mod 1, or steering gears mod 2 if you think it's too sluggish, and main battery mod 3. The USS Autism demands zero tolerance and perfectly executed move. In a game where RNG is prevalent and can negate your tactics, it is one-dimensional in a totally wrong way, countered by everything. Handicapped gun potential, overly reliant like millennials, and having a redundant role, all of which can only be remedied by brain power. There's a reason why Smolensk is now a rare sight, and that ship had it easier. This is why it's best to play in a division with a destroyer, having someone to compensate its weaknesses. But then again, that applies to every ship, and requires your division mate to be a bitch for the entire match. It could be mistaken for slavery. If you want something more independent that does everything better, get the Colbert. Not only it has more guns and permanent reload booster, it also has the speed, armor that works, armor piercing, and most importantly French fucking bias nobody gives a shit about. But why does logical reasoning matter when you can have 15 seconds of raging boner that will be noticed by everyone and spanks people when they least expect it? Being an American ship means it can never be in the wrong, as you can always talk your way out of any situation. Think of it as the anti-hero ship. You lose so much to gain that 15 seconds of primal desire, and you're betting 29,000 steel over it, so choose very wisely. At the end of the day, enjoy the game in your preferred way. Maybe carry the team once in a while, if you're in the mood.